In Mexico's extremely secure jail, this man walking around is not just any common person, but the world's biggest and most dangerous drug smuggler, El Chapo. In his cell, special CCTV cameras have been installed with the help of which he is monitored 24 hours a day. In his cell, there is neither any skylight nor any window. Only in the corner, a shower area is built. The interesting thing is that despite so much security and constant surveillance, El Chapo walks toward the shower area and then is not seen again by the security staff. After half an hour, when they became suspicious, they went inside the cell. But the world's biggest drug smuggler had escaped. So from where and how did he escape? Let's take a look at El Chapo's life and his escape in Zemra TV's videos. Once again, welcome. El Chapo, whose real name is Joaquin Guzmán, was born in 1957 in a small town called La Tuna in Mexico, but later he gave himself the name El Chapo. His habit of drug trading was inherited. His father, who was himself a small-time drug dealer, threw El Chapo out of the house at a young age. El Chapo had no job to make ends meet, and even after searching, when he found nothing, he also started selling drugs. At just 15 years old, he started growing drugs himself. He would choose a deserted area for himself and start growing marijuana there. Slowly, his drug trading increased so much that the big drug dealers of Mexico wanted to recruit him into their gang. In the 1970s, he joined a drug trading gang named El Güero Palma. In this gang, he used to oversee drug smuggling. He was so strict in his work that whenever a delivery was late or there was even a small mistake, he would kill the dealer. In the 1980s, he joined the gang of the then most famous drug dealer, El Pedro Avilés. This gang was the biggest drug trading gang in Mexico. El Chapo was also given responsibility for logistics and drug shipments. His job was to monitor the drugs coming from Colombia to Mexico. But in 1989, the gang leader, Aviles, was caught by the agencies and the gang fell apart. Taking advantage of the opportunity, El Chapo formed his own gang, which he named Sinaloa Cartel. Now, drugs were being transported into America through two routes. Most of the drugs came from the Caribbean side, and the second route was the Mexican borders. American agencies had focused all their attention on the Caribbean side, and many drug dealers and gangs had been caught. El Chapo took advantage of this and started smuggling drugs into the USA using different channels. He grew many types of drugs, among which methamphetamine, heroin, ecstasy, cocaine, and marijuana gave him more profit, so he focused more on these drugs. But getting drugs into the USA was not so easy, and for that, he used to work very cleverly. Initially, the kind of drugs that didn't have much smell, like cocaine, he would hide in fire extinguishers, chili pepper cans, or car rims and smuggle them. Even drug-sniffing dogs couldn't detect them. But the problem was that except for cocaine, other drugs couldn't be smuggled this way. That's why he adopted a method that became his identity. And that method was tunnels. He would invest millions of dollars, hire experts, and build such tunnels underground that had complete systems of electricity and ventilation. Through those tunnels, he started smuggling drugs into the USA. In the 1990s, officers of the Federal Bureau of Investigation were shocked when they found El Chapo's first tunnel. That tunnel was 300 feet long and had a complete electricity setup. The tunnel exited inside a house, which used to be El Chapo's safe house, and in case of emergency, he could escape through that tunnel. El Chapo knew all the rules of this business, which is why, despite many efforts, he was never caught. In November 2010, another tunnel was found in Otay Mesa with similar facilities. But apart from that, a rail system was also laid on the ground, through which debris during construction and later drugs were transported. In 2012, in Tijuana, in 2013, again in Otay Mesa, more tunnels were found. Looking at his incredible skill, El Chapo and his gang began to be called the King of Tunnels. He used to make his tunnels so deep that even ground-penetrating radar machines could not detect them. And he used to cleverly hide the entrances of the tunnels, like under a bathroom tub or under a toilet. Before building tunnels, he would choose the place very carefully. He mostly intended to do smuggling from Otay Mesa, a city on the U.S.-Mexico border. He chose Otay Mesa for 3 main reasons. First, Otay Mesa was near 2 major transport hubs, Tijuana and San Diego, and due to these hubs, it was very easy to transport drugs to agents. Second, it was an industrial area with many factories. The loud noise from heavy machines and factory traffic made it easy to dig tunnels, because the noise from digging would be masked by factory sounds. Third reason was the soil here. One side of the city has the ocean, which keeps the soil very soft, making digging easy. The other side has mountains, which gives strength even to soft ground, making it ideal for tunnels not to collapse. On June 19, 1993, Mexican authorities finally caught El Chapo and sentenced him to 20 years in prison. But this jail, too, became his office. He used to bribe jail staff and get every facility for himself, and even arrange his business meetings so that his work would continue. In 2001, the Supreme Court of Mexico gave a decision after which the process of prisoner transfer between the United States and Mexico became easy. El Chapo knew that due to drug smuggling in the USA, the U.S. government would surely bring him to their country and jail him, and then escaping from there would not be easy. That's why El Chapo made a plan to escape from the Mexican jail for the first time. He bribed the jail guards with $200,000 and escaped sitting in a laundry basket. For the next 13 years, because of his tunnels, drug trade, and other crimes, he remained uncaught and kept troubling both the USA and Mexican governments. But after 13 years of effort, Mexican agencies found his exact location and raided his house. This time, too, he had arranged an escape. He went into a secret tunnel under the bathtub in the bathroom, but the authorities didn't let him go far and finally caught him once again. This time, he was sent to Mexico's most secure jail, Altiplano Maximum Security Prison, and he was kept under special surveillance. But after just 1 year, on July 11, 2015, when he was strolling in his cell at night, at 8:50 p.m., he was last seen near the shower area. His cell had only the shower area that was hidden from the camera's view. About half an hour later, when he was no longer seen on camera, the lockup was opened to inspect the cell. By the time the guards went inside, El Chapo was gone. He very cleverly enlarged the drain of the shower area and dug a tunnel which connected to a big tunnel underneath. This tunnel opened up 1 kilometer away at a nearby construction site. 33 feet underground and 5 feet 7 inches wide, this tunnel was so big that a person could easily pass through it. But this time, his freedom didn't last long. On January 8, 2016, in Los Mochis, Mexican Marines again raided his safe house, and after heavy resistance, he was caught once again. This time, the American government didn't want to take any risk, so in 2017, El Chapo was handed over to the USA by the Mexican government, where he is now serving his life sentence in the Supermax prison in Colorado. But the reality is, no matter how much security there is, the American government always fears that El Chapo might escape again. We hope you will like and share this video of Zemra TV wholeheartedly. Thank you so much for your loving comments. See you in the next amazing video.